Cameron Palmer here with the Believeland Media postgame show from the yard here at Jerome T. Osborne Stadium. The Lake Catholic Cougars get a 42-14 win over the NDCL Lions. Lake Catholic improves to 8-2 on the season. NDCL will fall to 4-6 on the year. And what is the final Crown Conference game? For those of you who do not know, the Crown Conference that consists of Padua, NDCL, Lake Catholic, and Walsh Jesuit is this was the final game for both Padua and Walsh, who played yesterday, and NDCL and Lake Catholic, who played here tonight. It's the final game that they're going to play against each other in the Crown Conference. They're all moving, and they're going to be combining conferences with other teams that will likely be finalized throughout the offseason. It's basically all but confirmed. We'll get details on that, once it's more official by the OHSAA. As far as Lake Catholic goes, Frankie Trinetti, he capped off a phenomenal regular season with his 30th touchdown, his 30th and 31st touchdown passes of the season, including a rushing touchdown. The 30th is very important. He broke the what once was the all-time record for passing touchdowns by a Lake Catholic quarterback in a season. Originally 29, it is now 30. And Frankie Trinetti is the standalone atop of that leaderboard, and he kind of shattered the record, now sitting at 31. And any that he throws in the playoffs, those will count too. So he will, basically make the record untouchable for another 31 years, as Coach Gibbons alluded to in the postgame interview, since that record stood since 1992 when he was born. Just to kind of show you how long that record stands and how interesting of a story it is, because that was also Gibbons' dad's senior year of high school when the record was set. So it's a whole lot of wackiness going on. But despite that, Josh Stiles had a really good game on the ground, 164 yards on 21 carries. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground. He also had 87 receiving yards on 4 catches. So, Josh kind of being that feature back again that he has been all season. He went over 1,100 yards last week total on the season, and now he adds to it, roughly putting him about over 1,200 yards, maybe close to 1,300, depending on how everything totals up. And then for Ace Peterlin, he does fall 1 catch shy of most total receptions in a season for a wide receiver. He needed 6. He got 5. 73 yards to go along with the 5 catches and a touchdown as well. So it's not like he didn't, show out. He did a good job. DJ Sears added on with a rushing touchdown of his own. Like a really good overall performance, defensively, offensively, and even special teams wise. Harley Forkins didn't miss a single extra point tonight, and he was good. He's been good all season. So is this Lake Catholic team. And as far as week 11 is concerned for them, they're going to be playing at East Lake North. Obviously, they share a field with Menor, and Menor is going to be hosting a playoff game next Friday. So Lake Catholic had to find another place to host their playoff game. They're going to be at East Lake North, playing the Field Falcons next week. Lake Catholic will be the home team, despite it being at a neutral site. So they will get some of the bonuses that comes with being the home team. And then as far as NDCL goes, James Koenig kind of had to step into the QB1 role this year, and he did a fine job tonight. I'm not going to lie. He did throw a passing touchdown. I don't have the numbers totaled up from the end of the first half, but through a half, he went 9 of 14 for 123 yards and 1 passing touchdown. So he did outplay Trinetti through one half of football. But in the end, it doesn't matter how well he outplayed him. Frankie Trinetti comes out with the win, and that's what matters the most at Week 10 in the high school football season. But at the end of the day, NDCL's kind of in that midpoint of their, where they're at. Skill-wise, they got to just kind of build some guys up, and in a year or two, they will be, a force to be reckoned with in that new conference. Whenever when it is officially a conference next year, and Lake Catholic, is just now coming out of those kind of slump years, if there's a term to put to it, where now they're hitting their full stride. And to be honest, this might have been one of the best football games I saw them play this year. Obviously, they played a really good game last week against Walsh. Despite losing that game, they played a really, really good game. And speaking of that, Ace Peterlin kind of seems like the number one weapon. Crossing the boat did catch a touchdown tonight, but Ace Peterlin got the majority of the receptions and targets from Trinetti. So a thing to watch going into next week, and probably just the rest of the playoffs as a whole. But going back to that Walsh game, they played really, really well last week. Despite losing, and despite how ugly of a score it looked, it was still a really tightly contested game, no matter what the score says. When they beat Holy Name way back in week 2, Trinity bounced back off a pick 6 and played a nearly perfect game. And then he played absolutely lights out against Kenston back in week 5 before conference play got started for everybody. So just to kind of cap it off, Lake Catholic gets a big win, 42-14 over the NDCL Lions, improving 8-2, and will now get their playoff started. Coach Gibbons preached, splitting the season up into 3. Weeks 1 through 5 is part 1 of the season, is one season on its own. Week 6 through 10 is a second season, and then weeks 11 through 16 are another season of its own. And if you can go 8 and through the first 2 seasons in one season, if that's a way to put it, you're looking pretty good for week 11 and potentially week 12 and so on and so forth. This has been Cameron Palmer with the Believeland Media postgame show from Jerome C. Osborne Senior Stadium. Thank you so much.